Carnival cruisers are the worst, right? They're just a bunch of drunk partiers. Or are they? Ahoy travelers, it's Amy here to help you make your travel experience a success and maybe help you decide if you should brave a cruise with Carnival. Now, it is no secret that Carnival has a reputation. As much as they advertise themselves as the fun ships, they cannot seem to shake their reputation as a party cruise line. Like many things in life, I have a theory about this. The question that needs to be asked and addressed is whether Carnival deserves their party ship reputation or if there may be another reason for it. So let's look at a couple things. First off, Carnival has a brand ambassador, John, that spends his time addressing complaints and comments and requests through his Facebook page. This gives cruisers an access to Carnival that no other line has given anybody. It's definitely a good thing that Carnival is so open with their customers, but this access also means that the line has very little ability to hide or ignore issues that come up. Meanwhile, they've provided a venue for every little complaint to come to light. Other lines, even ones with social media, just don't seem to have this open access to information that Carnival has. Then you have traditional media picking up on some of these stories and making it more likely that you're going to hear about any issue that might arise on a Carnival ship, more so than you would on other lines. Another thing to consider is that Carnival is a budget line, and if you book an older ship with a short itinerary, you can really get some great deals on cruises. This means that some cruises will be full of first-time cruisers, groups like bachelorette and birthday parties, and just people looking to get away for a few days. All this lends itself to more of a party atmosphere, and I often like to call the 3 and 4 day cruises booze cruises. While I haven't actually done a lot of research on this, I have a feeling that the majority of the fights that break out and make the news are happening on these short cruise sailings out of Florida. We sail out of New Orleans and Galveston where they don't even offer cruises shorter than 5 days, and I've never seen a fight break out on a Carnival ship. Scratch that. On our recent Carnival Vista cruise, we did see a lifeguard and security break up a fight between 2 boys in the pool. And they were like 8 and 10 years old, so I'm not going to count that. One of these days, I'm going to research fights on Carnival ships and see exactly what ships and itineraries they were on. I have a feeling the booze cruises out of Florida probably top the list. So does Carnival really have the worst cruisers? Yes and no. First off, many cruisers on Carnival ships will also sail another line, so you can't make a blanket statement like Carnival cruisers are the worst. Having said that, there are several factors that contribute to fights on cruise ships. 1, larger ships. Obviously, the bigger the ship, the more people are going to be on it. 2, crowded ships. A lot of these budget lines, they are completely booked and they're huge and they've got 5,000, 6,000 people sometimes. The more crowded something is, the more likely you're going to bump into someone. There's going to be an issue. It's just the reality. 3, new and infrequent cruisers, they're more likely to be on these budget lines. For the low-cost itineraries these budget lines offer, they do bring in all these other types of cruisers, these new cruisers. And 5, the short cruises or booze cruises. And when a cruise has all 5 of those factors, I really believe the chance for a fight dramatically increases. While these 5 factors are not just found on Carnival ships, they definitely all can be found on Carnival ships. And Carnival does offer more of those short budget cruises than other lines. If someone is out there looking for a party cruise, they're most likely to book on Carnival, partly due to those 5 factors and partly due to the reputation the line has of having a fun party atmosphere on board its ships. So in that way, you probably will be more likely to see fights break out on Carnival than other lines. However, when you look at similar lines like Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and MSC, you're going to find there have been plenty of fights on board their ships as well. Disney Cruise Line even had a fight break out recently. Carnival has been taking steps to change this reputation and combat the fighting with harsher punishments and new crackdowns to prevent drug usage on their ships. If you've been on a Carnival cruise lately, I am sure you saw a drug dog prior to embarkation. Some of the raunchier activities are no longer a part of their cruises. Our cruise director TJ mentioned this on our last cruise, saying that they had to get rid of the hairy chess contest because it had gotten too lewd for children. And if you've ever seen one of those, you're going to know exactly what he's talking about. Carnival is definitely trying to revamp their reputation and get rid of that party ship moniker and be the fun ships designed for cruisers of all ages that they actually advertise themselves to be. I've sailed on multiple Carnival cruises, and it wasn't until our most recent cruise that I even saw a hint of a fight, and I mentioned that already with those two little boys that had to be pulled apart from each other in the Lido pool. However, I don't cruise out of Florida on short itineraries either, and I think where you cruise out of can have as much of an effect on the atmosphere as the ship and line itself does. When we've cruised out of Galveston, the ship is almost entirely filled with people from Texas. You think maybe half. I swear at least 80 to 90% of those on our last cruise out of Galveston were from Texas. When people asked someone, where are you from? Most people were just answering with a city because the assumption was it's Texas. We're from Texas. Now, that's going to impact what a cruise is like, good or bad. That's for you to decide. I know when we leave out of New Orleans, the makeup of the ship is much more varied, including a lot of people from other countries. And I just didn't see this on my latest Galveston trip. I never met another person from another country that wasn't working for the cruise line. So I have a question for you. Have you ever seen a fight on a cruise ship? If so, I want to hear all about it. Drop a comment below and be sure to let me know what cruise line, where you sailed out of, and how long that cruise was. Now, I think Carnival will always be home for me since my first 4 cruises were with Carnival. I think most people will love the line that they first sailed with as long as they had a good experience on that first cruise. It's hard to not have a soft spot for the first cruise line you sailed on or that very first ship. And it's hard not to compare everything else to that line and first ship. I think this is why you find a lot of people who are loyal to one line. It's not because of the loyalty perks, which, let's be honest, are really not that great to begin with. The things that really drive me nuts are not specific to Carnival or any other cruise line, and that's rude and selfish people. You know the kind, the one that don't seem to realize anyone else is sharing a space with them. They have loud conversations that no one else wants to listen to, and they're either oblivious to the fact that other people can hear them, or there are those people that I swear want everyone to hear their stories. Everyone. This is something I found on every cruise I've been on at some point in some location. And then there are those who walk in places on board right in the middle of the walkway so that no one can pass them. And they're almost always walking like they're on a Sunday stroll. Meanwhile, I know where I'm going and I'm on a mission to get there. I don't like to stroll around the ship unless it's really early in the morning. If you're going to casually stroll through the ship, that's fine. Just stick to the edges and walk on the side. And on US-based ships, the flow of traffic should be the same as that on a roadway. So stick to the right. Get off on the right side of the walkway. And if you're walking in a group, single file is the way to go. Maybe you get by with walking in pairs if it's a really wide passageway. But don't block the whole path. Then there are those people who stop right in the middle of the flow of traffic to have a conversation or figure out where they're going instead of moving to the side. Now, is it just me? Surely these things bother other people as well, right? Don't leave me hanging. Let me know. Please let me know these things bother you as well, because this is my biggest problem on a cruise ship, probably any vacation, but on a cruise ship is not letting the little things get to me and trying to remember, you're on vacation, it's fine, just give this a minute. But I really wish people would be a little bit more considerate and aware that they're not the only person in this space. In the end, don't let the negative Nancy's keep you from trying out a Carnival cruise. They're a lot of fun, and you don't have to be an extrovert or a party person to enjoy your cruise. Trust me, there are a lot of people over 60 on Carnival cruises, and since we cruise during the non-peak times, like when school's in session, the majority of people will be over 50, for sure. So don't think that they're just for younger adults and families. Just be sure that you choose a 7-day, 5 at the very least, itinerary, and maybe not cruise during spring break or the summer holidays if you can avoid it. Why not stick around and check out this video on cruising Carnival as an introvert, and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.